Property that I did this study on is located on my family's ranch in Rosette, Wyoming. It's just a project that we started. We noticed some decay in our hay fields, and we're kind of curious about how to boost its health a little bit. This property had been planted historically to crested wheatgrass. Since then, it's decayed pretty poorly, and the hay production on it is it's not even worth bringing the tractors out to anymore. And I thought that using these remote sensing techniques would be a good way to confirm whether or not using cover crops to renovate this field actually worked. The image on the left came from Landsat 8, and this is displayed in true color, which is how it appears naturally to the eye. And so these arrows right here are corresponding just with some features on the map. As far as the data collection goes, I took 2 images from 2017 and 2018. 2017 would have been the year previous to the treatment. 2018 was the year that we planted the cover crops. And so I kind of broke this up into 2 sections. You can see here on the Google Earth image, the section on the right is what was planted to cover crops. The section on the left is what I used for a check, or just as a means to compare. What I did is I took 15 samples from the images that I received from both the renovated area and the non-renovated area, both in 2017 and 2018. And what that allowed me to do is to see if after we planted in 2018, if there was a significant difference between the area that was renovated and non-renovated, as well as the difference between this same area in 2018 and 2017, so pre and post treatment. You can see that in each of these little squares, that's a pixel on this image. And so when I was analyzing this data, I chose 15 random pixels, but I tried to do it in a manner that reflected the differences on the ground. And so, like, for example, if I was analyzing this non-treated area, I know that this field right here from experience is more similar to this area than it is to this hill right here. We don't really hay the hill, and the vegetation on the hill is different. So I tried to stick my 15 pixels for the check in this area instead. So you can see here on this graph, it kind of summarizes the overall story that we see from analyzing these images. You have here 4 colors. The blue and the gray dots are going to represent both fields in 2017. Your blue dot is the area that was renovated in 2017 or in 2018, but the blue dot is its current condition in 2017. The gray dot is the non-renovated area in 2017. And then in 2018, you have the non-renovated area, or my check area, which is represented by the yellow dots. And then you have the renovated area that we planted to cover crops, represented by the orange dots. And so you're kind of looking at the trends that we see here. From the 15 samples that we took in each area, we didn't see really any of a difference between the renovated and non-renovated area in 2017. It's pretty much the same, which makes sense intuitively. It's all the same vegetation. However, in 2018, you can see a big difference between the non-renovated area here in yellow and the renovated area here in orange. So what that kind of says to us is that, hey, there's a lot of light being reflected from this vegetation in this treated area, and the vigor is much higher. That one of the challenges that I face going through school is that a lot of the classes that you take, I mean, you use examples that are far from normal life or from what you observe. I think the benefit of this project for me was it allowed me to use something that I see every day at home, and a transformation that we did, and then put it to application using remote sensing. And for me, it helps me to grasp the concepts of remote sensing, because now when I drive by this field, I think, okay, this is what these images were showing, and this is what this means. There's a lot of crop vigor here. That was reflected in our images, or there was like nothing going on here. That was also reflected in our images. And so I think it helps you to absorb the concepts a little bit more.